Thanks for listening to the Swearing In podcast, where you'll hear the origin stories of those who chose to serve. So ground your gear, take a seat, and listen up. The Swearing In podcast starts right now.
Heads up! Hello and welcome to all my brothers and sisters in service. This is the Swearing In podcast, and I am your host, Marty Smith. First off today, a little military history. Today is February 13th, 2022, and on this date in 1965, President Lyndon Johnson approves Operation Rolling Thunder in Vietnam, which was a sustained bombing of North Vietnam. The bombing campaign was designed to interdict North Vietnamese transportation routes in the southern part of North Vietnam and slow infiltration of personnel and supplies into South Vietnam. From 1965 until its end in 1968, about 643,000 tons of bombs were dropped on North Vietnam, and a total of nearly 900 U.S. aircraft were lost during Operation Rolling Thunder. It was started in an effort to demoralize the North Vietnamese people and to undermine the capacity of the government in North Vietnam to govern. Most experts believe that Operation Rolling Thunder failed on both accounts. Okay, so now let's get to what we're all here for. Today, my guest is former Air Force Buck Sergeant Dave Oswalt. Dave grew up in Walled Lake, Michigan, just outside of Detroit. He graduated from high school in 1970 and went on to attend Bob Jones University in Greenville, South Carolina. After a year, he left the university and joined the Air Force in 1971 as an Air Force Specialty Code 811, or Security Police. His tech school was at Kelly Air Force Base, Texas, where he trained to be a Strike Action Team member. His first assignment was to Elmendorf Air Force Base in Anchorage, Alaska, as part of the 6981st Security Group. Dave left the active duty Air Force in 1976. This concludes your pre-brief, so let's get on with the interview. Well, I'm here today with former Air Force Buck Sergeant Dave Oswalt. Did I pronounce it right? Oswalt?
No, you're close. Oswalt.
God, I couldn't pronounce it right with your brother either. So
yeah, well, it's Os, like Oasis,
Walt,
and then Walt, like Walter.
I don't know why I feel like I should put a V in there. I don't know why.
Hey, I've had mail. Aswald.
Oh no!
It's like ASS. What the? Where'd you get this from?
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Well, I didn't do too good.
Yeah.
Dave, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it and sharing your story. You grew up in Detroit?
We lived in 13 different cities.
Oh.
Around Detroit.
Oh, okay. Okay. Your brother told me the story of Walled Lake.
Yep, that's where we spent. Actually, it was funny. The most time as a family was in Walled Lake. So I actually call that basically my home city.
Now, for those listening, I keep saying I said your brother. Your brother is a couple episodes ago Bjorn Oswalt from the Army. And you're Dave Oswalt from the Air Force.
Oswalt.
Yeah.
There you go. You got it.
So, okay. So what were you doing before, or what led to your decision to join the military?
Well, my dad wanted me to be a preacher. I wanted to be a teacher. I was studying in college to be a history teacher.
Okay.
And so my dad was really harping on me to be a preacher instead. So in between semesters, I'm looking at the newspaper and My number was 117.
Your draft number.
Right. And it was at 113. So you're thinking, you're going.
What year was this?
71.
71. And what college were you at?
At that time, Bob Jones University. Do not hold it against me.
Where is that located at?
Greenville, South Carolina. It's an ultra-conservative college. At that time, they were being sued because there were no black students.
Oh, really? And that was 71.
And they let one cook, because the rule was if you work for the college, you get your college free.
Okay.
So they, this one black lady was trying, I guess more of a, depends on your age. This black woman wanted to go to college, and rightfully so by the rules. So anyway, that's where there was a whole bunch of, kind of thing. But they were ultra conservative. Yeah, it was.
What faith was it?
It leaned more towards Baptistic.
Okay.
But to give you a mental thing to it, it when I went to boot camp, there was no change. It's like this is easy. Because, well, yeah, our beds had to be made just like in boot camp.
Oh, geez.
So when I went to boot camp, I go, this is not hard. What are you guys crying about?
You've been doing it.
I mean, there were people crying. So.
Well, no, before you got to college, you graduated from high school I did. In what year did you graduate?
1970.
Okay. So this was early on in your college career.
Yes.
And why did you choose that university?
Well, because my parents really wanted me to go to a conservative college.
Oh, okay.
So that's why we chose that college.
Okay. So you spent a year down there in
Greenville,
South Carolina?
Uh-huh.
Or what? So what switched? What happened? Okay, now we're all up to speed on preacher versus teacher.
Right. So now I'm looking at the paper. They're at 113. My number's 117. Wow. So I go, well, might as well join. And I saw a gigantic billboard that said 3,000 push-ups later, be a Marine. So I joined the Air Force. And I go, come on, boot camp was like playing miniature golf. You were the ball. So it was super easy.
So you went into just a bank of recruiters, or you just went straight to an Air Force recruiter?
Yep, I just went into the Air Force recruiter. I volunteered my number. After I volunteered my number and I'm on the bus, I find out they quit at 114.
Oh, you're kidding! And you were 117.
Yeah, I would not have had to go.
Oh, well, but you stepped up anyway. So
yeah, well, I am conservative. It's just how I am. I'm built. So serving my country was a no thought. You do what you do.
What was out of curiosity? What was the? I know we didn't have coast to coast news or anything like that really, but what did the country feel like at that time? I mean, was it?
Well, they were spitting
when it started turning against.
They were starting to spit on from Vietnam, and so that was kind of bad.
Yeah.
The hippies were basically running, the thought of America. But again, as our country does, changes back and forth all the time.
Yeah. How did that not dissuade you from going in? How did you not get caught up in that?
Oh, I'm not a hippie.
Easy enough. All right. So What did the recruiter tell you? Did he promise you a job? Did you even have a thought about what you would want to do in the Air Force?
Well, do you remember the recruiters back then were promising more of the Army doing it, promising, oh yeah, you can be stationed in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And they legally, being there one day, they were stationed there.
Yeah.
I didn't go through that. I just went in. I did not pick a MOS. I just volunteered.
Oh, they didn't offer you anything? They just said, thanks for signing up. The bus leaves.
Basically, the bus leaves in 2 weeks. Please be here.
So how long from you walking into the recruiter's office did they send you to MEPS and then ship you off to basic? How long was the time period?
2 weeks, got on the bus. Sorry. Got on the bus, forgot about us. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I do.
Basically, took us to the airport, flew us into San Antonio, got on another bus, said, if you need to go pee. I was stupid enough to go pee, because then you had to go to, do the
test. Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, you just told me. So here I am going, please. So I did that, went into basic.
What time of the year was it? Was it good San Antonio or was it cold San Antonio?
It's Texas. So it was in October.
Oh, that's mild. Yeah, that's not so bad.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, especially compared to Michigan. So
right, it's like it's like summer. But we here we are in basic, and you take your aptitude test, and I go, cool. I got a 94% in electronics, which means nice. I could work with nuclear weapons. I go, this is cool.
Yeah.
So they made me a cop. And
because you did so well on electronics.
I know. It's like, wait a minute, guys. You had me take that test so what I'm good at. Yeah. So they made me a cop, and that was fun.
Now, nowadays they call them security forces. Did they call it security forces back then?
No, they call it security police.
Security police. Okay.
Yeah. And we were divided into two sections. You were either a guard or law enforcement.
Oh, okay.
And I did not know that it was divided like that. But yeah, so it got divided. And so here I am in line with everybody else. And they go, we're going to read off the names of people who have volunteered. Okay. So there are 12 of us that volunteered to go to San Angelo to be a cop. We had to be there an X amount of time in order to go straight to Vietnam.
Oh, well, wait a minute.
we learned how to shoot the grenade launcher. We learned how to shoot 50 cal. Man, if you want fun, that is the weapon to shoot.
I was always amazed by the 50 cal at how long that whole bullet is. I mean, it's the size of your hand. It's
Isn't
amazing.
it?
That thing is crazy.
I remember there during training, as we're lying on our backs, they go, now grab the barrel with the asbestos glove.
Oh yeah, that glove. Right.
Oh my God.
So you could swap it out?
Yeah. You had to about every minute to 2 minutes. Otherwise, it will melt and change shape.
Yeah.
But then, the grenade launcher on the M16.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so anyway, here we are in boot camp and for a cop. And we're shooting. We had to get an X amount of score in order to qualify. And the guy next to me, is getting ready to retire. And I go, "Hey, Sarge, you're shooting at my target." And he goes, "Am I hitting it?" So out of 100, I scored 120.
Wow.
And I know I made expert.
Yeah, expert plus.
So after that, they literally lined us up and go, "Here are the people that have volunteered."
Oh.
And so I volunteered to go to Kelly Air Force Base.
Kelly. Okay.
It doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
And so that's it. That was the headquarters of security service.
Okay.
We call them diddy boppers because they listen beep, 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 beep,
Morse
beep,
code.
Morse code.
Yeah.
They listen to all over the world. And so here I am sitting post, and a 3-star general walks through my gate, and they go, "Halt, sir, halt." So I tell my sergeant, the general would not stop.
Yeah.
Literally 15 minutes later, a 4-star comes down to my window and goes, "The next time he walks through your door or your gate, if he does not stop, shoot his ass."
Oh my God.
Cool. At that time, I was actually a 1-striper, and I go, "1 striper can shoot a 3-star." I go,
Yeah.
"Wow, can't get better than this."
Well, you'd make history with that.
I know. And then they made me the head of a SAT team.
A SAT team.
Strike Action Team.
Huh.
SWAT.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so we ran drills because we had that big 10-acre antenna.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we have drills ever so often where the SAT team had to go out and, play games, halt, against the wall,
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And I had a guy, we had where they went through an alarm door without notification. So
Okay.
here I am now running with my team, and I turn the corner and I see this guy right by the door, and I go, "Halt, or the next step's your last." Only time as a civilian cop or a military that I ever had to pull my weapon.
Really?
And why would I lie about this?
Oh,
So anyway, so I said, "Halt, or next step's your last," and he yells, "I'm a civilian. Call the FBI, the CIA."
Oh, jeez.
Janitor. So, and I knew the guy. I knew what he's doing. So we just told him to get back in there and reset the alarm.
He just didn't. He tripped it and didn't mean to. Huh?
Right. Well, he just forgot.
So
it's easy to go through a door, right?
Right. We used to do them all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
You lean against it and inadvertently set it off, and the cops come running.
Yeah. So anyway, here I am at Kelly. I'm inside the headquarters building, and the sergeant walks by, and she goes, "Hey, Dave, what's the matter?" And I go, "Well, I got orders to go to Vietnam." She goes, "How do you know?" It says Southeast Asia.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Right? Where was she going to go, right?
Right.
And she goes, "Oh, where do you want to go?" And I go, "Wow, I want to go to Alaska." And she says, "There's a 9-year waiting list."
Of course.
Right? Who, come on. Hunting, fishing, scenery. Who doesn't want to go there?
Not Vietnam. Sounds like a great place to go.
Yeah. And so 9-year waiting list, I go, "Sarge, at least you tried. At least you did it. Appreciate it. No harm, no foul." 9 days later, I had orders to go to Alaska.
Oh, she swung it for you.
Yeah. So I think she actually saved my life.
So you were set to go over to Vietnam.
I was, and I would have gone.
Yeah, of course you would. Yeah.
But and the reason I think she saved my life, cops, both law enforcement and security, they're the ones that are on the perimeter.
Yeah.
So, they don't teach you to fire the 50 cal for fun.
Yeah, right.
So I'm thinking, overrun, I'm dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think she saved my life. And
Wow.
so I got to Alaska, drove up there, by the way. From San Antonio, Texas, drove all the way to Anchorage, Alaska.
Do you remember the car you had at that time?
A Ford truck.
Oh, yeah.
150.
Old and 3 on the tree kind of thing?
I'm sorry?
An old 3 on the tree kind of truck?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, I get up to Dawson Creek, and here I am with gigantic holes in my radiator.
Oh, no.
And the guy can't fix it.
Oh,
and
geez.
so my brother-in-law, who is stationed in Alaska, comes out and tows me the last 600 miles.
What? 600? He drove out there. He drove 600 miles to tow you back 600 miles?
Right. And the thing is, it's wintertime, so, and there's no guardrails. Okay. This is, this is way back when.
Yeah, that's perilous.
And so here you are, you're driving along, and it's one of those belt tows.
Oh, that flex, and so you got to be
back and forth. You hit the brake, you let go of the brake, and all this, him yelling at me, "Stop it!" So
now, who was he who came out and got you?
He was my brother-in-law.
Oh, jeez.
And so, again, since there's no guardrails, here you are. If you go too slow, you're going to slide off the side of the mountain.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You go too fast, you're going to launch off the side of the mountain. So, anyway, I'm in the car itself, or truck with my brother-in-law, and he told me, "Shut up, close your eyes, and sit on your hands."
Oh, geez.
It's like nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
But we made it. And, here I was.
Was he in and he was stationed up there as well?
Yeah, he was Army.
Okay.
Now, this is no joke. He was military intelligence.
Okay.
So what do they say about military intelligence?
It's a contradiction in terms, right?
Exactly. This guy was so stupid, he did not know how to tie his boots correctly. And I am not joking. And he's military intelligence.
Well, nobody said anything about the best and brightest. They just said military intelligence.
Yeah. Well, but then I say my sister was at Fort Rich. Here I am in Elmendorf. So we got to see each other quite a lot.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it really was. And it's really the reason I wanted to go to Alaska.
What was she doing over at Fort Rich?
Nothing. She was being a housewife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, when you were at San Angelo, that was your tech school, essentially, right?
Yeah, there was an actual tech school for cops. They just did not send me to that one. They sent me to San Angelo because they wanted to get over to Vietnam fast.
Because you were the volunteer.
Yes.
Okay, so your first assignment's up at Elmendorf Air Force Base. And what'd you think going up there? I mean, you had some snow. You grew up with that, but still.
Yeah. Used to snow. Snow in Detroit, ice in Grand Rapids.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you kind of get used to that.
My wife grew up in Kalamazoo.
Oh. I had an office later in life. I had an office in Jensen area.
I'll have to tell her.
Well, the nice thing is, Oswalt, I'm Dutch.
Right.
And I do have one of those bumper stickers saying that you can always tell a Dutch, you just can't tell them much. And wooden shoe, rather be Dutch. So,
oh, that's good too.
Yeah, well, but being Dutch, you got a lot of business because Dutch wanted to work with Dutch.
Interesting.
So, yeah. I was totally amazed at the how do I want to say it? How they work together as a gigantic community being Dutch.
Oh, okay.
I totally, because I never had that in Detroit.
Oh, you didn't?
No. Like Walled Lake was basically 99.9% white.
Okay.
Okay. When we moved to Birmingham, the riot stopped 3 blocks from my house.
Oh, jeez.
I know. Fun times. So, but again, it was a time where we were changing how we look at people.
Right.
To me, it's kind of like back in the day, if you had captain bars on your shoulder, I don't see if you were a man or woman or white, black, Asian.
See him as a captain.
You're a captain.
Yeah.
You salute the bars. You don't salute the person.
How was it during that period of time in the military? Did you notice anything there? I mean, was it outright, or was it just, hey, we're all stupid enough to sign up, so we're all together here?
Well, it was a little weird because, again, I hate you as a person, or I like you as a person. Your choice.
Yeah.
And here I was sitting post, and this guy tries to walk behind me where that's the super SSIR security clearance is.
Uh-huh.
And he doesn't have his badge, and I stop him. Well, he's a young 17, 18-year-old kid that's black, and he had a chip on his shoulder.
Oh, no.
I'm stopping him because he's black.
Ugh,
not because he doesn't have his badge. And
right.
He's turning me into,
Oh, he made an incident out of it.
Oh my God, yeah.
Ugh.
But again, everybody knew me, and therefore, they believed me over him.
Sure.
So, but that was the only incident I saw of that. There may have been others elsewhere.
Yeah.
But to me, everyone I worked with, white, black, Asian, hey, we got along.
That's good.
Yeah, I didn't see any of that. So I was at the end of the change.
Well, and history tends to paint that time as, everyone was at everyone's throat, and, nobody liked each other. And, the more people I talked to, it's like, no, that wasn't really the case,
No, at least for my perspective, it wasn't.
Sure, fair enough.
It's not bad at all. So anyway, here I drive in to Elmendorf to headquarters, and they tell me, since I got a wife, they will move me back to the U.S. and pay for the move if I extend my enlistment.
Oh, wait, we went out that far? You're up there already?
Yeah.
Well, I think it seems like we skipped over quite a lot there.
Nope. We were talking about my stupid brother-in-law driving me, towing me the last 600 miles.
Well, so you get up on the base,
huh?
Right? What was your first? What was the unit you were assigned to?
The 6981st.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
6981st.
6981st Security Forces.
Squadron.
Oh, squadron.
Yep. I still have my hat.
Were they security police squadron or security forces squadron? Oh,
nope,
okay.
Security police. There were no, as you said, forces. We didn't have that name.
Okay. So Army had military police. You had security police.
Right. And we used to be APs, air police, back in the 40s.
Oh. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah.
And they go, we don't guard the air. Okay.
You guard the things that fly into the air.
Right. So they call us security.
So that was a big fighter squadron up there, I think, right?
Not
Or were they
1681st actually was the cryptographic group.
Oh, okay. But the base itself,
it was very large.
If it had fighters or bombers on it, but
they had both.
Oh, well, gee, then you are high security up there. So
yeah,
no wonder.
But again, I had nothing to do with that.
Sure, understood.
I only had to do with the antenna and the building of the crypto people. And so I extended my enlistment 5 months. So what was your original enlistment? How many years? 4. And I got out 4 years, 5 months.
Oh. That's what I'm saying. We skipped over that whole 4 years. That 4 years has got to be full of stories for you, right?
Well, it depends. I learned how to play pinochle. I learned how to read. I hated reading. Hated.
Yeah.
But sit and post, you got a choice. Look at the stars or read. So I started to read. But I remember I'm looking out at Mount McKinley, 250 miles away. Uh-huh. At midnight, I can still see it.
Wow.
So here I am looking at Mount McKinley, and I have to do some paperwork because I'm the desk sergeant. So I turn around, open up the cabinet, grab the paper, turn around, and there is a bull moose's nose inside my... If he would have turned right or left, there would not have been a shack.
Really? So he poked his nose through the window?
Put his nose through the window.
Jeez.
Now, if I was an Eskimo, Eskimos actually shoot moose while a moose is swimming in a lake with a .22 pistol.
22?
Yeah, because they swim, get on top of the moose because the moose is swimming.
Yeah.
Put the pistol inside the ear and shoot it.
Oh, jeez. Well,
right.
I guess that's one way to bring them down.
Well, yeah, a couple pennies, right? Versus, and then they would just haul the moose out.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
But you weren't in that situation. You just, did you freeze? You go away.
I just stopped. Waited for it to look at me, blink its eyes a few times, and walk away.
Jeez.
It's like, goodbye. Oh, yeah. Oh, and in case you don't know, at 52 below zero, yes, it does freeze when you pee.
Oh, my goodness.
It's a mist.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Is that the coldest it got for you?
52 below actual.
Ugh.
Wind chill 72.
Oh, yeah. So they gave you all the vapor barrier stuff, the cold weather gear, the bear.
We actually had wolf fur around our heads. Like the Eskimos, you see them with that fur.
Yeah.
We had the same thing.
Wow, jeez.
Yeah, and then we had what was called Mickey Mouse boots.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
You know what those are, right?
I've heard of them, yes.
Yeah, big white boots that you actually hook up to an air. Like you would.
It gives you that barrier to keep you a little bit warmer.
Exactly. It's like blowing up a tire.
Yeah. I heard those were difficult to get on.
I didn't have any trouble. Really did.
If you were faced with the possibility of your toes freezing off, I guess you would.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Right?
You don't take your foot out and lick it. Yeah.
So, what were your duties during that 4 years? Obviously, you weren't just hard.
I was SAT. I was a SAT leader. Right. I was a desk sergeant.
Well, you had to do a lot of drills, a lot of training missions for that SAT team.
Well, we had to walk around the building, check the doors, that kind of thing. Look at the 10-acre antenna. We never went into the antenna area because they warned us that because of all the current going around, it would make you not have babies.
Yeah, sterile.
Yeah. So we just looked. There it is. And that was it.
Enough. Don't radiate me. I'm just looking.
exactly. So it actually was to me, it was easy duty.
Yeah.
I learned to read, which I'm a voracious reader now. I got 60,000 books on my phone.
Jeez.
And so I love to read. And so I do like that part. I was able to go back to college.
Oh, while you were still in?
Yeah. Now, did you ever take any courses from the University of Maryland?
No, not Maryland, but other online universities now.
Yeah. Well, back then, for us, at least for me, that was the one that they used.
Okay.
And so I took courses from that, got some of those EUs out of the way. Which was kind of cool. You have on your resume, you went to University of Alaska. So I went there, took courses. You would call it a CSI.
Okay.
I learned to tell if a car was in an accident, were their headlights on or not.
Oh, forensics kind of stuff then.
Yeah, like again, CSI.
Yeah.
And I learned how to read tires and all that kind of stuff. That was one of the courses I took at the University of Alaska, was being a cop.
Well, it fits with your job, I suppose.
Yeah. So fun times. And then towards the end, they said, we will pay for your, for you to move, and they'll ship all my stuff.
Yeah.
And they go, where do you want to go? Terminal leave. And I go, well, my wife was from Tucson. So it was 16 below zero in Anchorage. It was 65 degrees in Tucson, and we had that air conditioner pumped up as high as it would go. We were sweating bullets. So my terminal leave station was Davis Monthan.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I spent 45 days there doing nothing.
Weren't they? Didn't they want you to like house hunt or something like that, or didn't they give you that time to do that? Oh,
nothing. It was like you going on vacation, because it was terminal leave, which means I'm on leave.
They're paying you for it.
Yeah, and they're paying me for it. So for 45 days, it gave me a chance to find another job.
Okay. Well, now wait. Where did you said they moved you with your wife?
Right.
Where did you meet your wife, Fred?
Bob Jones University. We are in class, and they do it by alphabet. Her last name was Owenby. And so here I am. I reach over and I said, I don't want to really say hi to you. I want to flirt with the girl next to you. And that's how I met her.
When did you guys get married? Before you went in?
Got married December 28th.
At where at?
Tucson.
December 28th of what year?
1971. So I went in, went on leave, got married in uniform, and drove her butt back to San Antonio.
Okay, so you did your basic and then got out, got married, went back, and finished up.
Yep.
And then she went up to, did she go up to Alaska with you?
Yeah, I hope so. She was pregnant with my daughter.
Oh,
yeah, we drove. Well, I actually did all the driving. Drove up through Canada, Oregon,
Well, she wasn't with you when you were getting towed, was she?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she was. See, you're leaving all that stuff out.
I don't want to leave her on the side of the road.
Well, I didn't know she was with you. You didn't indicate. So
sorry. I thought it was about me. So she was with me.
Oh, now was she closing her eyes during that treacherous tow ride all the way up to Alaska?
Marty, how would I know? My eyes were closed. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go down to David. You didn't want to re-up, right?
I did and I didn't. I wanted to be an officer.
Okay.
I did not want to stay enlisted. So the only way to become an officer is to either stay in and hope they let me finish college, or get out and finish college.
And then come back.
Yeah, and so that's what I did. I finished college, and I tried to go back in. The Air Force said, for what my degree's in, I need a 4-year master's.
Oh, what was your degree in at that time?
Systematic theology with a minor in cults and the occult.
Oh, my God.
And so, I know, right? Huh? I bet you've never met anybody with that degree. So
and that was a bachelor's degree.
Yes.
Wow.
And so I'm looking at, why would I spend 4 more years of college plus the money to go through college to make less than a butter bar? Right?
That's right.
Like, I can make more money at McDonald's. You want fries with that? So I go, thank you, but no thank you. I really wanted to go back in the Air Force.
Uh-huh.
And so I didn't care if it was, in my degree or not. Because how many people work in their degree?
Few. Very few.
Very, lucky people. Few.
Yeah, true.
So anyway, I went and talked to the Army. I didn't talk to the Navy because I didn't want to go on a ship.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I talked to the Army, and the Army gave me 2 choices. One, a tank commander in Yuma, Arizona.
Okay.
It gets 128 degrees in Yuma, and there's no air conditioning.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty hot. That's all right in the desert out there.
Yeah, so I'm going, no. So then they offered it to me where I could be a maintenance officer in Flagstaff.
Okay.
And I go, okay, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Except if I was regular Army, if I lost a tank, they pay for it. If I as a no gut or National Guard reservist, if I lose a pencil, it comes out of my pay.
That's right. It's different rules there. Yeah.
Different rules. And I'm thinking, no.
Yeah.
And I have a friend that at that time that was a major, and he was going to give me his uniform because you pay for all that gold braid. You pay for it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I go, okay. And so we're talking about, this and that and how to do things. But those were the only 2 options Army was giving me.
Oh.
So I never got to go back.
Oh, okay.
And I really, maybe I'm one of the few people you've talked to, Marty, but I loved the military.
No, a lot of them did. Most people did. Yeah.
Yeah. I really had a great time. I made some good friends, over time. And yeah.
Did you make any friends at Basic that followed you all the way through?
Oh, good story. Thanks for asking.
Good.
So I had this guy, his name was Darling. He's the whitest white guy you'll ever see in your life.
And you're Dutch. And you're Dutch, so that's saying something. Right?
I know. My wife, you can see through. She's so white. So here we are. Darling is at the front of the line, and this 6'6" black guy goes, "Oh, darling!"
Oh no!
It was just funny. He would do it all day long.
Really?
Oh yeah. Anyway, so here I am in Alaska, right? And lo and behold, this guy comes through my gate, and this is why. Do you remember that lady I told you about, the sergeant that got me my orders?
Yes.
Okay. It was the ugliest woman or man you've ever seen in your life. They called her the animal to her face.
Oh.
I called her Sarge.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So of 5 people that did that, she sent 1 to the DMZ, 3 to Vietnam, and 1 to Alaska.
Huh.
You know where Shimia is?
I do.
That's where he got sent.
Oh, that's way out on the end of the peninsula.
1,600 miles out there.
Oh my goodness. That's almost Russia.
Yeah, it's actually in a different time zone. Yeah. It's about 16 miles from Russia border. Oh yeah.
Well, that sounded like a good choice to call her Sarge.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? So he's coming through post to sign in and stuff and get his clearance so he can go out to Shimia. So wow. I did see one guy from boot camp.
You got out in 75?
76.
76. And finished your degree. How long did it take you to finish the degree?
I got a 4-year degree in 3 years.
Oh, very good.
My last year, I did 21 credits, both summer and standard, fall, spring.
Were you still getting paid to go to school off of GI Bill?
GI Bill.
Okay. You try to get back in the Air Force. Try to get back in the Army. Now what's up for you? What's next?
The only thing is I got a civilian job.
Did you become a cop? A civilian cop?
I was a cop in a chaplain in Denver. And I was a cop out of the police academy in Tucson.
How long did you do that for?
Till I got a job as a minister.
You did?
Uh-huh. I was a pastor of a church for 8 years.
So the whole preacher thing came back around.
Yeah, and here's what's funny. I go visit my parents, and my dad's had me, he said, come with me. So we go to his office, and he's arguing with me a theological point that I agree with.
Oh, jeez.
For 2.5 hours. No, you don't. Yeah, Dad, I do.
Oh, my goodness.
That's my dad. I'm going to tell you a funny story.
Okay.
Remember I told you about my wife? We didn't want to leave on the side of the road.
Yes.
Okay. So 2 days after we get married, she says to me, I don't think I love you.
Oh, no.
And I'm thinking, would have been nice 2 days ago.
Uh-huh.
You're right? To know this. Every 6 months for 15 years, she told me every 6 months, I'm thinking about getting divorced. So after 15 years, I gave it to her.
Oh, jeez.
And then down the line, about 10 years, she died of cancer, breast cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. In reality, she was a nice lady. She had no emotion whatsoever. Yeah. But she was a nice lady, very intelligent, very talented, could sing, could draw, really a great lady in that respect. But so it's kind of down hard when you go, I think about getting divorced. What the?
Yeah. And then to make 15 years out of that.
Yeah. Well, I've been married 4 times.
Oh, okay.
I know, right? If you can't win one, keep going. The next wife was actually 12 and a half years.
Okay.
See, I believe in commitment.
Yeah. Well, you're trying to make it work.
Yep. And then after that, the next wife told me she only married me for the green card. I know. Pожалуйста, извините, я перепрошую.
Oh, so a good old Irish girl, huh?
Yeah, it's actually Russian, but you're close.
What was everybody who's gone through a hitch in the military has some times where, you're just like, oh God, this duty sucks, or this period of time stinks. I remember they moved us. I was an artillery guy, and they moved us from Fort Polk to Fort Hood, Texas. So from Louisiana to Texas. And we had to train up to go out to National Training Center out there in the desert in California. And we were training during this winter in Texas that had it was a freezing cold winter. Ooh. And I remember none of our vehicles' heaters worked because we didn't bother maintaining them in the heat of Louisiana. So when we went to Texas and we had ice storms and everything for like 2 months, it was just, one of those every 20 years we get that kind of storm in Texas.
Same thing in San Antonio. We got a half an inch of snow and people were doing donuts on the freeway.
Right. So, but I remember it was so icy at one point. We had one of our tracked vehicles. It was so icy that track slid all by itself right into the ditch. And they finally called a halt to the exercise and said, okay, we're really threatening people's lives here. But I remember no heaters, being wet and being cold in the middle of the night, waiting for the wrecker to come to get that track. And I was like, this is a miserable piece of time we're doing here. Did you have any of those kind of incidents while you were in the military? No?
Nope.
Really?
Yeah, well, again, Alaska, you expect it to be below zero.
Well, sure. But I mean, being cold, being tired, being overstressed or anything.
No. In fact, it got to the point, coldness-wise, I went out and shoveled the snow minus 10 degrees in a T-shirt.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I had pants on, too. But, it was just, you got used to it.
I talked to some people who have done a hitch out in Thule, Greenland, for the Air Force, and they have. I got a few friends that did that. Yeah, and they have the rules there. You can't go outside for so long, and you can't expose this body part. And you
you get the opposite training in Phoenix.
Yeah, I bet you do.
I remember that. But
similar, right? They still don't want you to go out in the high heat for very long.
There is I remember boot camp. The flag would go up, red flag, saying that you can't march.
Yeah.
I do remember that. But the only thing I did not like was we were in what used to be officer quarters.
Okay.
Back in the 40s.
All right.
And so you had a mud room, and in winter I had to have a hammer by the front door because I would get a good 6 inches of ice every night.
Oh, jeez.
And so in order to get out of my house, I had to use that hammer to break the ice.
Jeez.
It's what you learn. You learn to do it.
You adapt to it, right?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
What was some of the best time that you had in
Alaska?
In your 4 years? The whole time.
Well, besides the 50 cal and the grenade launcher, Alaska, loved it all 3 years. By the way, just so you know, when I told you I was married 4 times, currently my wife, loved the dickens out of her. 17 years.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. Well, she said if I ever did anything bad, she'd literally, put me into the wall like Count of Monte Cristo. Okay, sweetie. Love you. Well,
hopefully you've had enough practice to get it right this time. It sounds like you are.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she is wonderful. Yeah.
When did you make E4 Buck Sergeant? Do you remember?
Yeah, when I got to Alaska.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you spent the entire time up there as a buck sergeant.
Well, again, 3 years.
Yeah. But is that because you had some college? Is that so they just wanted you to complete basic and then they pinned some stripes on you because you had some college?
Well, I was when I drove up there, I was a 2-striper.
Okay.
So it's after I got up there that they made me a 3-striper. And do you know what S2E03 pay is?
No.
It's a specialty pay, and it's special proficiency pro pay, because you are in the top 2% of the whole Air Force.
Oh, jeez.
I know. Me. Couldn't believe it. So here I get this. Oh, by the way, I also got $12 a month extra for overseas pay. And here I'm stupid. I thought Alaska was part of the U.S.
Well, yeah, right. But I heard they did that for Hawaii, too. Because
right, exactly.
Yeah, it's not part of the continental United States.
Yeah. Right. So anyway, I'm in the top 2% of the whole Air Force. And you would not give me staff sergeant.
Jeez.
That did piss me off a little bit.
Sure.
Because how can you be in the top 2% and not? They said if they would have promoted, I was 0.002%. So if they would have promoted one more person, that would have been me.
God.
Of the whole Air Force.
How did you get into that top 2% of the Air Force? Based on your test scores?
Based on my test scores.
Okay.
Yeah, I had always had 9s. And in your review, I always had 9s. Except my last review, I got an 8.
Huh.
My sergeant says you can't always be perfect.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, that one hurt.
Yeah. Well, I suppose in the grand scheme of things, you didn't get E5.
Nope.
But you didn't go to Vietnam. So I suppose if that's the worldly trade-off, I guess that's the better way to go, I suppose.
Yeah, and I've looked at it that way.
Yeah.
Because again, I say all the time, that lady, that sergeant, saved my life.
Sure.
So, yeah. Because, by the way, just so my next tour probably would have been Thule. Because you go from family to isolated.
To unaccompanied tour, right. Yeah, that would have been a year without her.
Right, exactly.
And your daughter.
Yep.
Anything you would have done different for your military career?
Well, again, yes. If I really would have thought it out, I would have got my degree to begin with.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And be an officer, because it's easier to become an officer that way than it is to become an officer from the enlisted group.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That's more chance, and that's more availability, and wait, and but you had good reasons not to. I mean, you didn't know at the time that you were 3 numbers away from getting drafted, and then you really would have got your Vietnam time.
Right. Yeah.
How long after did you hear that they had stopped at 114?
The next month, it was in the newspaper.
After they already had you on the dotted line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ain't that a kick in the head, right?
Isn't it? I mean, I do not regret it in any way, shape, or form, but it was a little ironic. I go, oh my, I missed it by only 3. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe that near miss isn't too bad.
Yeah.
Well, Sergeant Dave Oswalt.
You got it.
Thank you for your story. It's been a pleasure to talk with you, and thanks for being a brother in service.
Well, same here. And if you ever need to talk again or whatever, give me a call.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. I'd like to get you and your brother on, and you guys can tell me all about stories growing up.
Well, I will tell you this. He actually volunteered to go to Vietnam.
Yeah, I believe he said that. Yeah.
Okay, so I would not have to.
Oh, geez. Is that, would they have done it that way, though?
Yeah, because of Private Ryan.
One out of the family and all that stuff. They would
right. Yeah. So if he would have went, I never would have gone.
Yeah.
Huh. So yeah, he was a good brother that way. They didn't take him; they sent him to Germany, but he volunteered.
Well, that's fun. That was. I enjoyed that thoroughly, Dave. I appreciate that.
Well, Marty, it has been my pleasure. Honestly, this has been a hoot. Again, from my generation, this has been a hoot.
It's been a privilege to talk to you, Dave.
All right, sir.
On behalf of Buck Sergeant Oswalt, I'd like to thank you for listening today. I hope you enjoyed the show, and if you did, please leave a like or a comment and share the podcast with someone else. And, as always, make sure to download the next episode for more service origin stories. So until next time, Attach! Fallout!